Wow. After what feels like months, I'm finally doing a show where I get to stare deeply into Gary. What the f are you wearing? What is this? I just see a worm, maybe a penis, peeking out from the, what is that?
Do you like my worm?
It says wicked.
It is a worm. Shout out to the Worcester Wicked Worms, okay? It is a worm, people. Confirmed. I know it's the internet, but it's a worm.
Welcome to the Elle Duncan Show. What is a wicked worm? Worcester? What?
You know how we feature minor league baseball teams rebranding. So this was one of them from like last weekend, and they sent me this shirt, and I was like, I haven't seen Elle in a while. I better put on Sunday's best. I better put on something that's really going to grab her attention.
Yeah,
it worked.
Yeah, an angry worm.
It worked. A wicked worm.
An angry wicked worm. Wow,
that's what it is.
That's how Gary's ex-girlfriend describes him.
Damn.
What I love too is that
Probably.
every minor league team for sure knows that, like, you and Randy, you fall for that minor league stuff. Like, if they send you anything minor league related, you guys are going to fall for it.
I'm a sucker for
100%.
a gimmick. I am a sucker for a freebie. Are you kidding? I haven't paid for a t-shirt years.
Yeah.
I will recycle the same shirt. It's all good. I love it. Give me that.
It's lovely to be back in studio with you. A lot to get to in the show today.
A ton.
We're going overseas, man.
College football starts tomorrow.
College football starts tomorrow. We're going to go to Dublin and check in with Harry Lyles,
Straight up.
who, of course, is host of Countdown to Game Day, college football reporter. We're going to have a fun game with him. That's What's Up or Hell Not.
Yep.
And we're joined by Ryan McGee.
One of the greatest
Irish,
living Americans.
But also very, very Southern.
True.
We're going to run some Irish words through you, see if you know what
some
the
questionable
slang.
Ones, Elle.
There are. There might be some crack involved.
You are going to have to definitely enunciate every letter, okay? Because there's going to be people accusing you of saying some stuff that we are not allowed to say.
True. Yeah. We're going to show a little crack and do some other stuff as well.
That'll keep the viewers.
All of that still ahead here on the show, so stick around for them. It's going to be super fun, but here we are.
Come on.
In the W.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day.
Hey, we pulled a pin on a grenade and we forgot to run out of the room.
Yeah.
We are trapped in the room with the live grenade because we made mention of Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and then I just said, hey, let's invite her into the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
And 700 people on our YouTube channel is like, let's do that. And I'm like, let's freaking do that, Elle. Come on.
Yeah. If you missed the last episode, Gary tried to make an argument for
effectively,
should Caitlin Clark be in the MVP conversation? Yes. And I said no, just because we've only had one person that was a rookie win MVP as well. That was Candace Parker. And she was just dominant from the beginning. And on top of that, it's not just about Caitlin. It's much more about what A'ja Wilson's doing. Yes. I think in the interest of just fodder, sure, you want to throw in the race, fine. A'ja Wilson's going to run away with the MVP. It's not even a question or a conversation. Period. She's having one of the most dominant seasons that we've ever seen a basketball player have since Shaq won MVP 100 years ago. Okay. So like the dominance is there. She is incredible and she has leveled up. But now there's the question that our producers have posed that I also find to be a total and complete cop-out.
I hate this question.
Should there be a co-rookie of the year? Because Angel Reese is, of course, doing historical things with her double-doubles as a rookie, and Caitlin Clark already has set 1 million records and looks completely unstoppable, especially when it comes to dishing.
No.
And it feels like we are both on the same page here.
Not a shot. No, they're not equal. They're not.
You're going far.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's not rookies of the year. It is the rookie who has had the biggest impact on their team, and it's unequivocally, and the odds are saying that it's even distancing itself even further, that it's Caitlin Clark. She is leading in all of the statistical categories as a rookie, minus rebounds. Obviously, Angel Reese is averaging a double-double, but the impact on the team, we are talking again at nauseum about Caitlin Clark leading as a rookie the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. They are ahead of the Chicago Sky. So I think, to me, if this is even breaching a conversation of splitting this, it might as well be, hey, you're a rookie, here's an award. You're also a rookie, here's just an award for being a rookie.
I'm 100% with you. I'm not a big fan of anything. I think it's a cop-out, and it feels like a consolation. This, to me, feels a lot like after LSU won the national championship last year, and then First Lady Jill Biden was like, well, maybe we can invite Iowa too.
Hell no.
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 the whole point of the voters is that you have to make tough decisions. And
Mhm.
I do still think the decision is tougher than you seem to think. I still stand on the fact that I think that is Caitlin Clark because of all of the things that I've mentioned before, but because people don't really do their research, I'll remind them again, because it is harder to translate as a guard right away in the league, and also because of not just the historical stuff that she's doing, but because she is so integral to what the Fever do and the idea that she is at the moment leading her team to the postseason. How you contribute to your team and what your contributions mean in terms of team success is important.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it should be Caitlin Clark as Rookie of the Year, while I still enjoy the debate for people that feel like it should be Angel Reese. I also say that because we haven't seen this since the first 2 years of the league, when they had something called Rookie of the Year and Newcomer of the Year.
Oh.
Now, I would love for a W old head
Sure.
to fill me in on like what that meant.
Mhm.
Maybe it was that it was like someone from overseas. They weren't necessarily a rookie out of college. They did that for 2 years and they were like, let's just go to the Roy because let's just go with one. So they haven't done that before. I certainly wouldn't do that.
Sets a bad precedent.
It sets a bad precedent, but we're also reacting as it relates to Caitlin Clark to one of our colleagues, Stephen A. Smith, on his show,
I've heard of him.
talking about sort of what has been an undercurrent this whole entire year and calling out people for their perceived hate on Caitlin Clark. And as someone that has already stepped into this space and was called numerous names on both sides of this argument.
I apologize for that, by the way.
Yeah, stop tweeting at me.
Okay.
Just say
I
it to my
said
freaking
sorry,
face, bro.
Elle. Well, I haven't seen you in like 3 months.
I know, it's true.
Damn. So listen up.
I'm gonna present this argument.
Okay.
In that for people in the media, Caitlin Clark has become such a lightning rod that in many ways I'm gonna liken it to sort of Voldemort and Harry Potter.
Oh, you're not supposed to say his name.
Beetlejuice, right? Like
Do not say Candyman 3 times or I'm leaving.
Candyman.
Don't.
Candyman. Candy Girl. You are my world. It has become really difficult to figure out how to capture and talk about some of these conversations because the vitriol just follows.
Mhm.
You know, if you are very complimentary to Caitlin Clark, there's a function of the population that thinks that you're being mandated to say it and that you're trying to be safe and that you're trying to appeal to her and that you're trying to appeal to her fan base. If you say anything critical, you're a hater. And I will just say that we should also give a little bit of space and grace for the fact that it can be difficult to figure out how to address this topic when there is so much nastiness involved in it. Like, this is not your typical, like, is it Michael Jordan or is it LeBron James? This is not your, even what we heard, this week from Dennis Rodman saying that LeBron James isn't really that skilled and all he has is a layup, which is asinine, right?
I missed that.
Oh, he said that. He fully
said
said that. Or your guy,
Damn.
Anthony Edwards, who's my guy. I love Anthony Edwards, saying that Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan because nobody else had any skill at the time except for him, and everybody is much more skilled now. Like, these are arguments that you can have and we can debate and we can be like, you're crazy, and we can.
Yeah.
Specifically, the Caitlin Clark topic is such a lightning rod topic that it can be hard to figure out how you're going to navigate it. And some people who have been on the receiving end of racism and threats and nastiness, you could understand might want to avoid the topic altogether. Now, I am a glutton for punishment. I don't mind it. I'll keep bringing it up because that's our job. And like, that's what we do as journalists, especially in this space. And because let's be real, she's the biggest storyline in the WNBA this year, amongst other very big storylines, but she still, in terms of mainstream, is the most important thing. I just want us to leave a little bit of space for that understanding as well. And know that trying to beat people to death over this view or this subject, trying to batter them, trying to attack them, trying to wait. I mean, we've got so-called quote unquote journalists just like laying in wait, ready to pounce on anyone who has any perceived hate, ready to attack them, ready to send their missives to attack you. And it can, to some people, feel incredibly daunting to the point where they just don't want to talk about it at all. So I'm leaving space for people like that, whoever they may be, that maybe have gotten to the point where they're like, I am damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't, I'm just not going to bring it up at all, and I'm going to focus on all the other storylines because certainly it's not as if that narrative is missing.
I heard this before, and in my head, it makes sense. When you are at the top of the pyramid, you're exposed from all angles, and arrows will come from all angles.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like because Caitlin Clark is at the top of this pyramid, the entire conversation is exposed. The entire conversation is a 360. I think some people have welcomed, maybe invited some of the vitriol that we're talking about that's getting thrown around. But at the end of the day, like, we had 700 and counting comments on our last episode about Caitlin Clark, Rookie of the Year, and the conversation for MVP. And I went through a really big bulk of them, and it was split. But I wasn't reading anything like egregious. And it's the internet. It's the comment section, Ellen. There was just a lot of people who were like, depending on what metrics you are looking at, Elle's right. Depending on what metrics you're looking at, Gary might have a point for the MVP thing. So I think it's par for the course, understanding that Caitlin Clark is a lightning rod in and of herself, like, onto the scene, boom, the WNBA is now leading SportsCenter. It's in the A block of every national sports program. It's in the A block of most national sports podcasts. That just comes with the territory, in my opinion.
I disagree with you, though, that there is nothing that you can say short of just being disgustingly nasty and inflammatory. There is nothing you can say that is opinion based on your opinion that should invite people calling you racist names, the misogynistic things that have been said, people threatening to kill you. Like, those things are not welcome ever in this space. And while we may have been able to have a conversation that shockingly created a nuanced conversation in the comment section, that might be the first time. That's not the case for everybody. That's not the case for everybody. And when you're painted with a hater brush, it's very hard to get out of that. And so I would just like to say that while we are navigating this space and talking about it, because again, I've had to fall on the sword and say, I took some things out of context. I made some things that were based on an opinion that just was not thorough, which I'm not proud of. But let's just remember that this is still human beings that we're talking about. And you, in the same way, you would not walk up to someone that you disagree with and call them a racial slur. You should not be allowed to do that on social media just because you disagree with someone's opinion. You want to call people haters or whatever, that's fine. But that is not at all where it ends for some people, and it's unfair. So when someone, every time they go to engage on social media, is seeing themselves being called incredibly offensive things, or having people say that they should kill themselves because they're so stupid, or having people denigrate their careers, you could understand, maybe, if you put yourself in them shoes for a minute, why they would just stay away from the topic altogether. And I want us to just leave a little bit of room for that as well. And that's where I'll leave it at that. I am, however, excited to talk about something markedly more light. And that is, and I'm excited about this.
Lighter than racism and death threats? Doubt it. Doubt it. And again, I only said it once. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
As someone who, you know this, who has been trying for many, many years to get Dunkin' Donuts.
Stop it.
To see that I was born to do this.
Are you announcing
I am not. I am announcing that I am living vicariously through Angel Reese.
Oh, hey.
Who, after 4 years, according to her, was finally able to secure a deal with Reese's Pieces.
I was about to be
sister.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I was about to be red hot if you were like, Angel Reese secured a deal with Dunkin' Donuts. I was about to be like, no. Let me get in the comments. That's supposed to be for Elle. Okay, this makes more sense.
Right? Sometimes it takes, and she's admitted it. She's like, I have been working on this with my agent for many, many years to get this done.
That's a good one too, because it's objectively the best candy.
It's great candy.
It's so good. And peanut butter is good for you.
It's excellent for you.
Omega-3s.
It's basically a healthy candy.
It is a healthy treat.
Yeah. And it makes total sense. We've been punning Reese's Pieces when he do, treatments and things like that about Angel Reese. So she gets that deal done. In fact, she signed nearly 24 endorsement deals since her beginning of her career started at LSU. She gets another bag, and we love that for her. But come on, Dunkin'.
Please.
Dunkin', bruh. Come on, bruh. I even used to do a segment on Snapchat called Dunkin's Dude Knots. I mean, your whole entire name was already in the piece.
The way she spelled it, D-O''N O-T. Dude. That's that exactly how you spell it. I remember. I was there.
I'm just saying, now that Angel Reese has broke through, I'm hoping that they will see the error of their ways and finally go, yes, Elle Duncan, you were born to do this endorsement. I was born to do this endorsement.
Thought you were about to go, you were born to do the do. And I was like, different drink. Elle, that's a different drink.
Also,
same caffeine.
Listen, if you've got money, also open to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. One time. Hook us up.
What do you feel like you were like born to endorse?
God, Costco don't need me though. Like they don't.
You are a Kirkland's guy.
If it don't got Kirkland signature, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? But if it's got the Kirkland signature, that's the most trusted signature in the world.
Yeah.
Listen, if the Kirkland signature was on the Declaration of Independence, you know what I'm saying? There would be no questioning it.
Yeah.
Ever. So that's that.
Okay.
But I pay them.
Yeah. Well, exactly. They don't
need me.
Yeah. They do not need you.
I don't want their money.
They're worldwide.
I don't want their money. Elle.
We want everyone's money, Gary. Shut up.
Actually, okay, you're right.
We want everyone's money.
Please.
We also want everyone's attention because on the other side, we'll just take a brief little break, a potty break. As Gary likes to say, Daddy got to take a tinkle, a little tinkle. And when we come back, we're going to go all the way to Ireland where Harry Lyles stands by to get ready for college football week 0. Florida State, Georgia Tech. That's what's up or hell nah. Gary.
What'd I do?
We finally have real action, baby. College football is imminent. The season hours away. And of course, it is in the most American football loving place you could think of. Dublin, Ireland. And of course, holding it down for us across the pond is our great friend of the program, live. It's Harry Lyles. Hi, Harry.
How are we doing, guys?
Not as good as you, brother. Ireland correspondent. I got the FOMO.
Yeah,
I said this morning on SportsCenter. I would rather go back to Dublin for a second time before I go to a country, many countries, you name it, probably likely, for the first time.
Yeah.
Straight up.
You're a big Dublin fan.
I had a great time in Ireland.
Yeah. They're your people.
Oh, yeah. No, Dublin is great. Definitely don't love the jet lag. Outside of that, everything is phenomenal. It is not hot. Like, I'm trying to enjoy this week now because when we're at College Station next week and it's like 100 degrees, I am going to be miserable. So I'll take the cloudiness in 62, 63 degrees. So it's been perfect.
The good news is College Station is going to have just as much beer as Dublin, Ireland does for sure. These are big facts. Of course, we're getting ready for Florida State and Georgia Tech. Being that I'm from Georgia, being that I am, yes, a Georgia fan, but most of my friends attended Georgia Tech. I've been to numerous Georgia Tech football games. Yeah, right? I said something that apparently really offended Harry Lyles. I said, good for Georgia Tech. We'll talk about them for the next like 24 hours, and then we probably won't talk about them the rest of the year.
Damn.
And Harry could not have disagreed with me more.
He's shaking his head in disgust.
So you really think Georgia Tech's going to do something?
This is going to be a team, like their schedule might be their downfall, but we're talking about a team with a quarterback in Haynes King that he's going to be in his second year. When those second-year transfer quarterbacks, once they're finally in that consistency, I'm going to caveat this because, Elle, you're going to jump out of your seat when I say this. The good examples of this are Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix. I'm not saying he's going to be any of those guys.
Come on.
But they're going to score points this year. With him, with Jamal Haynes at running back, Eric Singleton, he's only a sophomore, great wide receiver. Defensively, they're going to be improved. So this is not going to be the only week that you hear from Brent Key and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
Hey, 2 of those 4 dudes lifted the Heisman at the end of the year. A couple of those dudes won a natty that year. Hey, we're not saying the Yellow Jackets are going that far, but I like it. And they've played the role of spoiler to Florida State 2 of the last 3 times they've played each other. And imagine after an offseason of Florida State, man, they got jobbed. They should have been in the playoffs. Imagine they lay a stinker first game out of the gates. That'd be insane.
Yeah, against the Yellow Jackets. We already know that when it comes to college atmosphere, and it's no offense to Georgia Tech, because while they are not great at the footballing, at least in the pomp and circumstance.
Okay.
Most of us will call them Boss One Day. Very smart kids that go there for sure.
Hell yeah.
But we want to play a little game with Harry Lyles called That's What's Up or Hell Nah. Of course, this is Born of Atlanta, of which Harry Lyles is from as well. We will give him a series of statements, and he will tell us if that's what's up or hell nah, that ain't the truth at all. And we're going to start with, let's be real, the preeminent team in Georgia, that being the team that's won 2 of the last national championships. So here we go, Harry. That's what's up or hell nah. Georgia gets the #1 seed and a first-round playoff bye.
Oh,
that's what's up. Yeah, look, I don't think, so here was not to get off track, but to make a larger point, my biggest issue with Florida State getting left out is everybody was saying, well, it's the best 4 teams. If it was the best 4 teams, Georgia would have been in that thing last year, because Georgia at the very worst was the second best team. And I still would argue that throughout the regular season, they looked like the best team. So this is a team that has something to prove. They've lost 2 games the last 3 years, guys, right? Like Carson Beck is back. He was much improved last season. I know they obviously lost a bunch of weapons, Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey. They're going to be playing on NFL rosters on Sundays. This is still an incredibly, incredibly dangerous Georgia team with at least 2 different guys on their defense that could be the #1 pick. So that's what's up.
Yeah, a little concern for me. Like, I love that Harry went there. A little concern for me in that Georgia's biggest games this year are all on the road. We know how they are in neutral sites. Yes. They, for some reason, can't win at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. That's how they open up the season against Clemson, which is a formidable, opening team. They have to go to Texas. They have to go to Alabama. Like, they have a bit of a tough slate. But I like that you said that. So we'll go with that. You ready for #2? Hit him, Gary.
Yeah, let's get that. All right, let's talk about prime time, Harry. Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes make a bowl game. That's what's up or hell nah?
Oh, boy. I'm going to go that's what's up.
Any bowl game.
I'm going to go that's what's up
6.
Because make a bowl game, yes. Because I think people don't realize if they didn't realize last year that Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are genuinely as good as Coach Prime is telling you. I understand a lot of people just don't like the way that he presents the information, but those are 2 of the most talented players in the country. The big X factor with Colorado, you're going to be hearing about it all year, is does the new offensive line mesh? It is a lot harder to accomplish than just putting in very talented transfers in and assuming they're going to work. If that even moderately works, that team, I think, will make a bowl game.
A reminder that the Buffs last year started out in Fuego, eventually ended up being 4-8, 1-8 in conference play. In all fairness, did not have Travis Hunter for a large swath of time.
Hey, hand up. I remember on SportsCenter in September being like, is Colorado a CFP team? hey, we were floating that in September. Don't act like that's not too far to remember. But they fell off. It was a thing. Quick.
Yeah, we remember. They ended up falling off. Definitely. Someone that did not fall off last year was Texas. Mm-hmm. And alas, despite making it all the way to the CFP, people still clamoring for Arch Manning despite Quinn Ewers being the guy. So, Arch Manning, Harry, will start at least 1 game despite not being the starting QB. That's what's up or hell nah?
Hell no. And unless the only way to me that happens is if Quinn gets hurt, which I don't think any of us want to see, right? Like, we want to see everybody go through the season healthy. Arch's time will come. It's absolutely not going to be this year. When Quinn Ewers is on, he is absolutely one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Like, some of the throws that we have seen him make in person over the last couple of years have been crazy. So no, that's not going to happen unless Quinn gets hurt.
I got a juicy one for you, Harry. Outside of Georgia, Ole Miss is the next best favorite to vie for a national championship. That's what's up.
Out of the SEC? Out of the SEC?
Out of the SEC. Jackson Dart.
Out of the SEC.
Give me the Rebs.
No, hell no. No. We're gonna go with Texas. I think this is the year that Texas puts it together. I think Ole Miss is going to be a tough out, and this also feels like a year for them. I don't think there's any pressure on Lane Kiffin necessarily, but it does sort of feel like, okay, expanded playoff. You know, their schedule isn't one of the tougher ones. And when I say tougher, I think of like the absolutely cartoonishly daunting schedule that Florida has to end the season, which, look it up, it's terrible. I think that Ole Miss is going to be in the end, like in the race in the end. But to me, Texas is the number 2 team in the SEC this year.
Can I throw a bit of a dark horse in there? Yes. And you can tell me if I'm insane.
Say Missouri. I dare you.
I think I know where you're going to go.
No, you're not.
Well, okay.
Wait, are you serious?
I was going to say Missouri. For this reason, let me state my argument, though.
Okay.
You want a dynamic player. They have one of the most dynamic player, maybe if not the most dynamic player, offensive player in football, and Luther Burden III, right?
Damn.
They play one of the easiest schedules in the SEC.
Yes.
They are a team that went toe-to-toe with, they lost 2 games last year, and they went toe-to-toe with Georgia. They only lost by, 10, 11 points. I think that Missouri, because of how bad their schedule is, because of the consistency, certainly defense is always an issue for Missouri, and you have question marks there. But I think that they are better positioned than even an Ole Miss to make some moves in the SEC simply because they've got one of the easiest strengths of schedule. Am I totally?
I would agree with that. Totally agree with that. And honestly, a lot of people are looking at their running back position with Schrader and his absence. Like, that is definitely a big loss. But, like, they went out in the portal, got Nate Noel from App State, who, when healthy, he is a great back, and Marcus Carroll from Georgia State. So they've got the pieces there. And Elle, like you said, like, their schedule is as favorable as you can get having an SEC schedule. Like, it's almost unfathomable to me, especially, again, when you compare it to a Florida schedule in late November. It just doesn't make any sense.
Health is wealth at that position. All right, Harry, I got one more for you. We're going to keep it Dublin-centric. That's what's up, or hell nah. By the time you and your running mate, Harry Douglas, leave Ireland, you're going to have to defend his honor and save him from getting into a fight with a local because he's appropriating their accent far too terribly. That's what's up, or hell nah.
I'm going to go hell nah, because you can't tell what accent he's trying to do half the time, you know? And everybody finds him, Elle, as you know, it's incredibly endearing.
Oh, right? He's so
I mean,
sweet.
like, it is
Harry's
very hard, even if you don't know him, to not love Harry Douglas. So I won't have to do that. Though I will say I wish I could document some of this, because he is genuinely the funniest person that I know.
Comedy.
Dude, just pull out your voice memo and tape them illegally. I will say I got myself into a bit of trouble last year. As you know, I fancy myself someone that does accents. And last year when I was in Australia, there was a couple of times where my husband was like, babe, you have to stop speaking in an Australian accent to people because they think you're making fun of them. And it's just like, it's not really hitting the way that you think. But it was very hard for me to not do that, which leads us right into our next segment with someone that's also going to sort of address what we're doing here, Ryan McGee. And I'm gonna do an Irish accent.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to embarrass myself as well.
We got some heavyweights on the program today.
Godspeed us all. Harry Lyles joining us from Dublin. We appreciate it. We can't wait to see you. College game day every morning on Saturday mornings. Check it on your socials. Harry Douglas, Harry Lyles, and Christine Williamson holding it down for you this year. Can't wait to see you this year covering college football for us. Please come back on the program.
Anytime, guys.
All right, Hair Bear.
Get home safe, brother.
God. You know, my favorite part of the start of every college football season is Ryan McGee's pieces that set the table. They get me excited.
Come on.
He's a good friend.
You know it's
we
real.
love Ryan McGee, and there's nobody to help us navigate week 0 in Ireland better than Ryan McGee. Being is that he's Southern and he speaks his own unique language. We're going to pull him in for a little game with Gary called What the F Are They Talking About?
Yep, that's the official word.
Before that, though, Ryan, tell us, my friend, what is the storyline that you were most looking forward to, or a couple from the start of college football?
I think it's going to be fascinating. All these people have been screaming for this expanded college football playoff for years. And now we've got it. And I guarantee you, none of them know how the hell it works.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, first of all, I was on Pat McAfee's show months ago and just casually made a comment about the fact that the season now will end on January 20th. And none of the guys on the set knew that. He was like, did we know this? And so I think that kind of sums it up, which is people don't know that this thing's going to start in the middle of December. And it's going to last till, MLK Day, right? Yep. Inauguration Day, January 20th. And it's going to be interesting. And when people see how the seeding goes, when the final poll drops on December 18th, and you could be ranked number 2 and you just barely lost your conference championship game and now you're 7, it's going to be nuts. And I'm going to thoroughly enjoy watching everyone not understand what's happening.
I'm going to be honest. We've had Heather Dinich on so many times as she tries to explain. Yeah. Okay, there'll be 3 at-large. Right away, I'm out. I'm like, what? I'm so confused.
Wake me up in late January. It's selfish of college football to do this because for the last forever many years, the national championship has literally lined up on my birthday, January 11th. And I'm like, it's a celebration for everybody. And now they're pushing out a couple of weeks. And what am I supposed to do, Elle? Yeah. I thought it was a big celebration for me, myself, and I. But now I have a fallback. I have to have a fallback.
They're being selfish. They are being. All right, so I'll say this. I've had to explain this to my wife because we kind of have a natural rhythm. And this to me, this is indicative of everybody, which is cover the national championship game around the 8th, 9th, whatever. And then, I got 5 weeks before I go to Daytona.
Yes.
For the Daytona 500. Now I got about 2 weeks. I'm telling you, wherever we're going, it's just, but I think that sums it up, which is people who even have made their living in this thing don't know. It's going to be great, but it is going to take a minute to get used to the new calendar because now it's a long season. Again, I covered NASCAR forever. That's the longest season in sports. This isn't that, but it's way longer than what everyone else is used to. So it's going to be interesting to see how everybody feels when we hit the middle of January and there's still 4 teams left.
We're still footballing. I will say this, though. The one thing I'm very much looking forward to as it pertains to expansion is for people like me, Georgia fans, not having to sweat how we win, style points, if we can have one.
Just don't lose 3 times.
But this is what I'm saying. You're talking about a team that lost twice in the last 3 years, and because of when they lost and who they lost to, were kept out of the playoffs. I'm looking forward to that because I think we can all agree there are not 12 deserving teams that should be in the national championship. So I don't want to hear the 13th or 14th team, you've got no leg to stand on when they leave you out. All right? Period.
What's cool though, Well, I say what's cool though is like I'm just up there. I'm on the coast of North Carolina. I'm not on the island of Ireland. I'm on an island off the coast of North Carolina, but coastal Carolina is just down the road. And now coastal Carolina and Liberty and App State and Boise, they can all recruit on. We have a chance to make the college football playoff, and it's legit. So yeah. By the way, Georgia, look at that schedule, man. That's a bad calendar. That's a bad schedule.
Ryan McGee, I just said to Harry Lyles, who said that he felt like Georgia was going to get a first-round bye. And, of course, I appreciated that he's pandering to me. But I just said to him, our schedule's brutal, man, because all of our toughest games are on the road, including Clemson, because a neutral site at the Benz Dome, which has always been cursed for Georgia anyway, Alabama on the road, Texas on the road. Like, this is a very, very tough schedule for Georgia. So I have concerns. Again, with the 12-team expansion, though, I think Georgia can lose 2 games and still make the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, but the bye is not. I keep telling Georgia fans, and even the sneaky ones, just got to go to Kentucky early, and you got Tennessee in the middle of November now, and even in Auburn sitting there, first weekend of October, sandwiched in between, 2 games that are probably going to have single digits next to their name. It ain't easy, man. I will be surprised. I think they're the best team in the country, but I will be surprised if they run the table because that calendar is not set up in their favor.
I totally and completely agree. I'm glad that we're level setting that. Calm down, Georgia fans. Okay. We can still get to the postseason, but it might be a bit of a journey to get there.
What are you talking about? Go speak in a mirror.
Who are you trying to convince, Elle?
Let's play a game.
All right, Ryan, let's play this game. Here it is. We're going to give you the Irish slang. I'm going to have Gary guess what he thinks this means as we get ready for Florida State, Georgia Tech. Real quick, your prediction on that game? Do you think Harry Lyles seems to think Georgia Tech can pull an upset here. So does Gary.
They're covering.
I think that Florida State will win the game, but don't be surprised if they look sloppy because, it's a complete roster transition. I was talking to the Florida State guys at ACC Media Days, and they're like, listen, I said, well, tell me about the logistics of this. And they said, Andrew Edelson wrote a great story about this, but they said, well, it's going to be great. And then I go, all right, that's the company line. What's it? They go, this is going to be a huge pain in the butt. And so they got, but Georgia Tech is on the way back. They're not bad. And so, but Florida State's better and they should win the game, but don't be surprised if it is not the prettiest football game you've ever watched.
All right, here we go. And I'm also going to attempt to do this in an Irish accent. So Ryan McGee, please excuse me. Here we go.
Yeah. On behalf of all McGees, we're sorry. We're going.
I'm sorry for this. Well, I'm a Duncan, so I'm Scottish. So that accent also horrible. Here we go. Blarney. I'll use it in a sentence. He's talking a load of blarney.
The gift of gab. Blarney, you're just talking that cash. Kiss the Blarney Stone, gift of gab. Easy.
Correct. Ryan McGee, what would be the Southern equivalent of he's talking a load of Barney?
He's full of malarkey. That's what my granddad used to say.
Great.
Oh, yeah, old boy there. He's full of malarkey.
That's a throwback.
I don't even know what malarkey is.
Who do you think?
I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Who represents that? When you think of like a team or a player, Ryan McGee, I'll pose it to you, Gary. Like, who do you think represents that? He's talking a load of blarney.
whoever that dude was on the USA flag football team who said he's better than Patrick Mahomes, that's a load of malarkey. That's a load of malarkey. Mr. Doucette.
How about Texas A&M, who have literally never won anything?
Damn.
And they all hate me because I say this all the time. The last time they won a national championship, and this is not a lie, the number one film at the box office was Gone with the Wind.
Wow.
Oh.
That's how long, 1939, I think it was.
So
incredible place, incredible facility, most dedicated fans in the world, but literally they've won one trophy of any kind, I mean, in the last 50 years. So yeah, when you're trying to convince me that you're Alabama and you're Oklahoma and you're full of malarkey.
I love that. If we were British, we could say, "You taking a piss?" Right? When someone says we're good, you're like, "You taking a piss?" That means you got to be kidding me.
I like it. It's good.
Second slang Irish word. You ready? Maggot.
Oh.
They're acting a maggot.
Jesus. Well, as somebody who has caught mice in my garage and then forgetting that I caught them, and then flies set their, nests, and then the maggots start coming out. It's nasty. It's icky. It's something that you want to have no part in. It's just gross, I'm assuming.
So you're saying that they're being gross.
They're being yucky.
Okay. Incorrect.
Damn it.
It is that they're getting rowdy, that they're being mischievous, that they're a little unruly, that they're wild. Ryan McGee, what's the Southern equivalent of they're acting a maggot?
They're acting the fool.
Yeah.
And he ain't got no sense.
He ain't got no sense.
Elle boy there wasn't born. He wasn't born with any sense.
That's the one.
That's what my mom would say. I'm pretty sure, like I'm on the roof of this beach house across the street from my parents' beach house. I'm pretty sure my mom told me one time when I was a kid to get down off this roof because I was born with more sense than that.
But I'm going to say this. He's come full circle because Ryan McGee, with this perfect shot that he framed up, his phone is in his neighbor's gutter, quite literally.
Yeah.
This man has this man is turning whiskey out of water.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making do with what he has. So congratulations.
He literally
to you.
started from the gutter and now he's here.
And now he's here.
Pretty sure there's some maggots up here. But
that's a fact. Hey, that's a fact.
Wait, who's the most unruly of the college football fans? Like, what atmosphere is the most unruly?
Well, I think that's probably dependent upon who you ask. I will tell you personally, Ohio State's the only place where ESPN has had to assign a security guard to walk around with me because of a story that I actually didn't write in ESPN magazine 10 years ago. But a guy threw a Crown Royal ball at me. So
not even good liquor?
Like, dude, at least have something in it if you're going to throw it at me. That was at like 9 o'clock in the morning. I've written something about Urban Meyer they didn't like, which pretty much everything I've ever written about Urban Meyer they wouldn't like. So it wasn't a surprise. But that crowd up there, as y'all know, in the Deep South, there's the LSU crowd, they get turned on, but they don't really get that ugly. And the Ohio State crowd, man, they can when they're pleasant, they're very pleasant. But when they turn on you, they turn on you. They get maggoty. What was the phrase?
Yeah.
And that's pretty,
they're acting a maggot.
It's pretty badass, though, that McGee was walking around with a security detail. I'd have felt like,
fire.
You know what I'm saying, the president or something pulling up.
Yeah.
They took him away. There was someone there much more important than me. I want to say it was.
I doubt that.
Jim, I can't remember who was there as a reporter for us, TV, but they pulled them off of them because they saw them throwing stuff at me. And they're like,
oh, my God. Tom Rinaldi's like, that's my security.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Tom, but Tom doesn't need security. He just floats above everyone.
That's true.
I've never been to Ohio State, but he hit on it. Like if someone was to ask me that question, I'd say there's only one place that I've actually been where the crowd, children, grandmas, aunties included, all sing "Suck That Tiger." And so that to me feels a little bit unruly and it goes a little bit far, but we love LSU.
Family.
Yeah. So y'all know my dad was a college football referee forever.
Oh yeah, he
worked a game at South Carolina, which is where my daughter is in school now. But my dad worked a South Carolina game, and when the officials were trying to get to the van to leave the game after South Carolina lost, the rowdiest woman that was smacking the window and flipping middle fingers and questioning their relationships with their mothers, all that stuff, had a huge big Marlboro Red hanging from her lip and was holding a baby. So,
oh my God,
that's that qualifies as maggoty or whatever it was.
Yeah, I love that.
You got to test those lungs early for that kid. You know what I'm saying?
All right, here's the last one. You ready?
Okay.
Irish slang.
Yes.
Crack.
Okay.
The crack was mighty last night. It was a mighty crack.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think I have to overthink this one. Crack. I mean, what? The crack was mighty last night. What do you? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here.
Have you ever heard anyone say that crack was mighty? That doesn't feel.
I feel like people aren't buying non-mighty crack.
Okay.
Right. Crack is whack.
Crack.
And then
Crack is whack.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard a guy in Uptown Charlotte say that the other day. This
There it
crack
is.
is mighty.
Okay,
I don't know.
well, no, the crack was mighty means it was fun. Like there was so much fun last
Yeah,
night.
I
We
bet
had a
it
great
was.
time. It was
Okay,
super
all
fun.
right.
Hey. I
Yeah.
bet those people who are partaking would say that.
So Ryan McGee, what's the Southern equivalent for the crack was mighty last night?
It was well, I would just say that I would ask this question in the Grove in Oxford, Mississippi, because that's the next time I'm in the Grove. I went to last year. I've been to the Grove a million times for work. Last year I was there on my birthday, and Marty Smith said, we're not flying back today. We're going to stay for your birthday. And I don't really remember a lot on the kickoff.
Nice.
And so the crack was definitely mighty on my birthday down at Ole Miss. But yeah, it was a barn burner. That's what that is. It's
Yeah.
a barn burner.
Oh, that is
a barn burner.
Barn
That's
burner.
good.
Yeah.
Barn burner.
It's a
Yep.
barn burner. Yeah.
You know, this highlights the
Barn-
point that there are two Souths because I also am Southern. You know, it's why it's very difficult for me to do. I'm actually really proud of myself. It's hard to do anything with Ryan McGee without starting to have some of those dialect classes disappear. And I start talking like this too because I used to sound like this before I started taking dialect
I
classes.
take that as a huge compliment.
It is a compliment. You make me feel like you're home to me, Ryan McGee. You are just like a warm apple pie. But I am also from Atlanta, which is not exactly Southern. And so if we were running this through the Atlanta translator, the crack was mighty would just be, it's lit.
It's lit.
Yeah.
It's lit.
Which applies. They would say that in any major metropolitan area, right?
Correct.
I mean, it's,
Straight up.
Fair,
100%
fair.
Atlanta's always kind of been its own thing, but it's the capital of the South, and everyone acknowledges that. And I live in Charlotte. I've lived in Charlotte most of my adult life, and we look at Atlanta and we go, all right, we're probably not going to do it that way, but we are going to learn a few things. So come see us.
That's good.
Charlotte is a heck of a town. Love Charlotte. We love you too, Ryan McGee. We hope you'll be on the program
Hell yeah.
for the duration. Now that you're in, you've been jumped in, man. Now you can't get out. It's like a gang.
No, I've been begging. Elle Duncan. I begged you at the national championship game in January. So I am excited to be here. And no offense to y'all, but I'm going to go to the beach because this is my last weekend off until the new college football playoff, like the end of January. So
we love it.
Get out of here,
Ms. McGee and I'll be down there.
You beautiful American.
Yeah. God rest you, brother. Thank you, Ryan McGee. All right, that does it for us. Shout out to Harry Lyles.
We got, man, Harry Lyles doing his thing out in Dublin.
Yeah.
Ryan McGee doing
Ryan
his
McGee.
thing out in one of the Carolinas.
Yeah, from a deer stand or
He
a
said
patio.
he can see the other Carolina from 2 miles away. I'm
I
like,
know.
was this Alaska, Russia? What is this?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I started doing like the geography in my head. I was like, okay, I feel like I see the mountains behind him. He said, South Carolina is right over there. And then he said, I'm about to walk down to the beach. I was like, where are you?
Like, bro is in Narnia. You know what I'm saying?
In what world are all those things existing all at
North
once?
Carolina.
North Carolina.
All right.
We will see you next week. A reminder as we shift into the football season, we're going to start releasing these shows on Tuesdays for you.
Busy, Elle.
Yeah, super
Damn.
biz. Mhm.
It's gonna be cool though. Plenty of content. Lots
So
of
much
talkers.
content. Yeah, a
Let's
ton
do
of
it.
that. Like seeing you in person, friend.
See you
Yeah.
next month in person, I guess.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, now that I've seen you once, I don't need to see
Nothing
you
written
anymore.
in stone.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you liked my worm.
Yep.
It's a large worm, just in
Oh.
case you're only listening. It's a massive worm.
Well, at least he's got one on his shirt.